Well, let's cross live now to Abidjan, talk to our correspondent there, Hannane Ferdjani. Hannane, thanks very much for being on the programme today. First of all, tell us a bit about what the atmosphere in the capital is like. We are just a couple of hours away from Gbagbo touching down.
Absolutely, just a few more hours to go before he lands in Abidjan. Well, let me just start by saying that the atmosphere since early this morning has been relatively calm, mostly calm, and traffic has been fluid. I think there's a sense that some people have decided in the economic capital of Abidjan to just remain home or not make any unnecessary moves in the city, just in case some tension arises. And some tension, in fact, has occurred in bits here and there, as we have been able to see since early this morning. What happened, namely, is that in the area where the airport is located, really, some pro-Gbagbo supporters made their way to be able to welcome him in person, to be able to greet him. And in some cases, well, crowds were dispersed by security forces on the ground. In some cases, were tear gas. We have also had some witnesses tell us that their T-shirts bearing his face were ripped apart completely, and that they were particularly disappointed that they weren't able to stay on the ground. So there is this sense that the huge turnout, the popular welcome that the FPI pro-party was hoping for is not going to happen because of that heavy security deployment around the area. Now, another information I can give you is that the plane in which he is currently on left a little later than expected, than scheduled, from Brussels. So he will be landing a little later this afternoon, probably around 5:30 this afternoon. He will be welcome in the presidential pavilion, so the VIP quarter of the airport, where some officials will probably be there to greet him in person, and we're not sure yet if he'll be given a speech at the airport.
Well, Hannane, it sounds like he'll be getting quite a diplomatic welcome when he arrives at the airport. He'll be able to use the presidential suite there at the airport. He'll travel in a motorcade, and we understand as well he is travelling on a diplomatic passport. Is all of this evidence that the current government of Alassane Ouattara is attempting some kind of reconciliation with Gbagbo?
Well, let's say that according to some members of the party, it is a sign and a mark and a gesture and a step in the right direction. What we've heard from, namely, the Secretary General of the party, the FPI party, Assoadou, when he did find out that the presidential pavilion access would be given to Laurent Gbagbo, that was a sign that the government was really extending that olive branch to Laurent Gbagbo, and that they could be trusted, and I quote, they could be trusted. So there is the sense that it is a new chapter that is opening up, and that national reconciliation that is so often being branded by the government is in that right direction, and he is an instrumental part in that process. Now, at the same time, there is also this conversation around the very controversial case of the West African Central Bank holdup, which, if I may remind you, occurred in 2011 when, during the post-electoral crisis, Laurent Gbagbo would have legally accessed the coffers of the bank, and he was, in 2018, convicted for aggravated theft and embezzlement by the Ivorian Supreme Court. So he still faces this 20-year jail sentence. Now, will he serve the term? Well, let's just say that from a legal perspective, and namely because of the people that we've spoken to who are legal experts have told us, it's unlikely that he will be serving the sentence. Well, there's a precedent for one thing. His former Minister of Budget, who was also convicted of the exact same crimes and was exiled in Ghana for a few years, was able to return to Ivory Coast just a few weeks ago, and he wasn't apprehended at the airport, and he was basically granted amnesty. So it's likely that Laurent Gbagbo will also be benefiting from that amnesty. If not, there's also the option of being pardoned by the President Alassane Ouattara, or to be retried again, unlikely scenario.